Good morning. At this station, what you'll be doing will be analyzing the text that you used to write your literary analysis for your pretest. So the first thing we're going to do is read the directions. Read the passage below carefully. Determine the mood of the passage. Then write an essay in which you explain how the author's use of diction, imagery, details, or other literary devices create that mood. Use textual evidence in your essay to support your conclusions. So we know we will be determining the mood of the passage, so we're going to box mood. We know this is our primary purpose. We know that we will have to explain how the author's use of diction, imagery, details, or other literary devices create the mood. So this is our secondary purpose. So we know that we are reading to determine mood and to find out how diction, imagery, details, or other literary devices, it doesn't have to be these, help create the mood. So as we read, and I'm not going to read the passage to you, but as we read, or as I read, what I found were some interesting things. What struck me was we had a gust of wind, the flame died, plunging Joseph into darkness. His hand trembled. It took him 3 tries before he could relight the wick again, and when he finally did, he was able to give that sigh of relief. And then in the second paragraph, we notice a shift. It starts with a shiver of unease as the darkness engulfs him. But here, we notice the shift. So here it begins where he talks about the lighthouse being a place of light. The windows let in the daylight. The lamps would be lit. They had powerful beacons. There was radiance. Let me shift my paper up for you. Okay, they guided the ships, but the signal lamps tonight are dark. So again, we have our second shift back. Okay, so we shift away from the dark here. And then we shift back to the dark here. So we have howling wind, and this is an example. I'm just going to draw a little line over here of personification. Okay. Because wind cannot howl, right? It's an inanimate object. Again, we have darkness that consumes the light, which is more personification. Okay. So here, I'm going to put a parenthesis around this because this is an example of juxtaposition. Now, you know I love my arrows. Juxtaposition is where you have opposites paired together. So we have the darkness consuming the light, and the sea is threatening to devour the tower. So we have the juxtaposition of the light versus the dark. Okay? So in our third paragraph, you'll notice we have dark. And again, we have howling. So we've got some repetition, all right? So I'm going to write repetition down here. And then I'm going to write dark, howling, and we have relentless crashing of the waves. Okay. The lighthouse was being swallowed by the angry ocean. Again, this is personification. Now this whole paragraph here is going to be imagery. Why? Well, we have rain lashing against wooden shutters. The merciless wind sought cracks in his defenses. He's pulling his knees to his chest. The wind is howling. He hears a crash. He's going to get up to investigate, but realizes, I can't do that. He hears the sound of the wind and the rain is the crashing of the waves. They're breaking all around him. Okay? So it's quite a bit of imagery in this paragraph. Alright, so now we're going up to the final paragraph. So the ocean would eventually release its prize is another example of personification. I'm a little bit off my paper, I'm sorry. Okay. Survival. Fear. You can almost taste the terror. Just as the sea threatened to overtake the tower. Again. Personification. Okay. Now you'll notice in our directions, was personification one of the devices given? No. But you'll notice there are quite a few pieces of personification being used. And we've also got quite a few pieces of diction being used. So I'm going to make a list of diction words that I like. I chose howling. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Crashing. Breaking. Angry. Fury. And devour. Okay. Now, we listed the mood yet? Not yet. But based on all of this information, and you'll notice it's taken me less than 10 minutes of my planning time and my writing time to do this. These are not positive words. So I'm going to turn over. No, I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and write the mood at the very bottom of my page, my list of mood words. Okay? So I've got quite a few to choose from. Joseph is frightened. There's terror. There's panic. It's threatening. There's dread. A feeling of helplessness. Of surrender, especially in our third paragraph, and a sense of foreboding, which goes back to the dread as well. So you'll notice there's not just one mood here, but these are all intertwined. That's the way it should be. Could I write about more than one of these in my essay? I absolutely could. Do I have enough evidence here to do that? Yes, I absolutely do. Okay? So what you're going to do at the teacher station is make sure to bring this paper with you, and you're going to analyze an essay that I wrote for these elements.